AFR On Demand is brought to you by Breck Golf. Try Beaver Creek today, just 20 minutes from downtown Baton Rouge in the Zachary area. They've got a PGA Tour driving range, a short game practice area, 30 to 40-yard practice shots. It's a great place to chip and putt and practice if you don't have time for a full round. Book your tee time today, golf.breck.org, golf.breck.org.
Matt Moscona.
I'm very important.
After further review.
Say it one more time.
After further review with Matt Moscona.
And here we go.
Live from the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge studio.
Let's ride!
And off we go. Welcome aboard. Glad you're with us. AFR presented by Don Juan Cigar Bar. I'm Matt.
Love you, Matt.
Paul O'Neill.
They're chanting Paul O'Neill's name.
You sir. And Mr. Toby Tumpley. All right, we're here. Glad you are as well. Get out there and make it a good one. LSU announced they are retiring Charles Alexander's number 4. Charles has been a good friend for a lot of years, and he's going to join us in 15 minutes. Terrio next hour. Tigers finally back on the baseball diamond. Lot to do. Let us begin as we do every single day.
It's time to pop the top on another edition of AFR with Bud Light. Drink easy.
Well, it feels like it's been forever since LSU played a baseball game. The reality is it's just been since last Saturday. It's been 6 days. But when the entire rest of the league has already played, and in some instances, like your opponent tonight, Texas A&M, has already played 3 full games in Hoover, yeah, it does feel like it's been forever since LSU played a game. So Tigers will get back out there, see if they knock off the rust, if they have any rust in this ball game to get out there. But I think one of the things that's going to be maybe most beneficial for LSU in this ball game is the fact that they're playing behind Cade Anderson. And Anderson's going to throw, and when you have Cade out there on regular rest in a highly charged atmosphere, I think that's going to elevate everybody. It should elevate everybody. And I'll also point out that LSU is going to have a massive crowd advantage over Texas A&M. The teams that typically travel best to this tournament are teams in close proximity, Alabama, Auburn, Georgia, and LSU. The farther teams have to go, and the less likely they are to go deep into the field, the fans don't travel as well. Texas A&M has to go farther, their fans do. And they weren't projected to do very much. Now, here they are on this Friday night. Maybe some people made a trip, but typically the way you'll see it go is if a team gets into the weekend, then you'll see fans travel. This should feel like a partisan LSU crowd. You're pitching behind or playing behind Cade Anderson, who's your ace and one of the best, if not the best pitcher in college baseball this year, certainly in that conversation, on full rest. A&M has already used Ryan Prager, Justin Lampkin. They're down to Miles Patton, they're number 3. It is worth noting that when LSU played in College Station last month, that they lost 2 of 3 to A&M. You know, they did lose Game 3 when Patton started. Now, Patton went 6 innings, allowed 4 runs on 6 hits. That was the game where LSU led 4-2, and then they just imploded in the 8th inning, and Cowan took his second loss of the weekend. But they've seen Miles Patton. He's not overpowering, and Patton, by the way, has lost 3 of his last 4 starts. The only win the only time they won is the game against LSU, incidentally. So Tigers will have a good opportunity out there on Friday night. This game is scheduled. First pitch is scheduled for 6:30 Central. They got the first game going. If it's Ole Miss and Arkansas, that game starts right now. Actually, can we get that on, please? LSU and Texas A&M will begin 30 minutes after the game. It's scheduled for a 6:30 start. We'll see if the first game there cooperates. Jay Johnson had his media availability there in Hoover on Thursday, and he was asked about this presumption that they have an NCAA tournament bid and a national seed locked up, and he was asked if having all of that locked up changes their approach here in Hoover at the SEC tournament.
It just validates more of the regular season piece, but for me, it will only change a little bit, like a lot less than people think about how this goes or how we approach it. Like I want to win this tournament because it's a competition, and on top of that, like everything is training for something, and what a great opportunity to play 3 teams that are capable of winning the national championship. So I'd like to have our players have that experience and use it to be able to draw from for what's ahead.
I think you treat this game, I'm genuinely not trying to stir any pot here, but I think you treat this game like a midweek game. Hear me out, okay? What Jay said there is absolutely right. It's a competition. You want to win. But the approach is not win at all costs. And there is a difference. You're going to go play hard situationally. If you have a chance to win the game, you're going to do it. If LSU is leading 2-1 in the 8th, you're gonna go get either Cowan or Evans. Of course you are. Like, that's how you're going to approach it. You're going to play to win this game, but you're not playing to win the game at all costs. Like, you're not going to run Cade Anderson out there for 130 pitches. You're not going to jeopardize anything to win this game because you have so much already locked up. Now, there's another piece of the conversation that that I'm always interested in. We've talked about it plenty here, me, Muse, Terrio, all of us, and it's what do you do in right field? And we know they've platooned there, and typically we have seen Ethan Fry establish himself as the DH, and typically whenever there's a left-handed starter, it's Josh Pearson in right. When there's a right-handed starter, it's Jake Brown in right. Miles Patton is a lefty, so presumably that will be Josh Pearson in right, which you know how I feel about it. I think that's foolish. You have a 5-tool guy that is maybe the most talented guy on your roster. He's got to be in the lineup every day, although I fully expect that Jay's going to play Josh Pearson tonight. Jay was asked about Jake Brown, however, and what do you like so much about him?
I think what I love about Jake, and kind of in what you were asking me, is a very good blend of focus, intensity, and the ability to relax in the moment. Like, he's a clutch player, and he's a terrific athlete. And I knew when we got him here, like, he would get better as his career goes along. And we saw that at the end of last year. We saw that as the season progressed. And there's still more for him to go get here, which is really exciting.
I think that's certainly going to be one to watch as we move into the offseason. We're a month away still from portal and everything that's going to happen. But I think that's one where you're going to hold your breath a little bit because LSU is going to be active in the portal. Like, you're losing Chris Stanfield, but you got a guy like Jake Brown that is an everyday player. He is not a platoon player. And with Derek Curiel coming back, if in fact they do go get a player out of the portal, I've mentioned a center fielder from TCU is a name that's pretty popular among names that many assume are going to test the portal waters. And LSU would be in the mix there. Is Jay going to play 3 lefties in the outfield? Probably not. So it's just one to watch as we move throughout SEC tournament, regional supers, Omaha, however all this plays out. We'll be keeping an eye on it. But tonight, LSU and Texas A&M, again, scheduled for 6:30 first pitch. Got to see how Game 1 plays out. They're underway there. Ole Miss with an early 1-0 lead on Arkansas. We'll continue to watch this as we go throughout. Ole Miss, by the way, it is very interesting. Ole Miss, as I understand it, having some conversations today, Ole Miss and Tennessee seem to be the 2 teams vying for the last regional host site among the SEC teams. If Ole Miss beats Arkansas today, plays into the weekend, Tennessee loses tomorrow to Vanderbilt, Ole Miss likely would be that last regional host. But if Tennessee beats Vanderbilt tomorrow and plays into the championship game, there's a really strong feeling like Tennessee's going to end up hosting a regional. And I don't want to see that. I just don't want anything good for Tennessee and Tony Vitello. But I'd rather see Ole Miss host. But we'll see how it goes. Just something to watch. Whatever your rooting interest may be, as this game plays out with Ole Miss and Arkansas, and then when Tennessee and Vandy play tomorrow. All right, it is After Further Review. Our show Open Every Day is brought to you by Bud Light. Drink easy with the great taste of Bud Light. Y'all, we are here on Memorial Day weekend, and we always pause on Memorial Day weekend to honor the brave women and men who paid the ultimate sacrifice so we can enjoy our freedoms. And the reason that we're supposed to go celebrate and not be somber is because we are meant to enjoy on this holiday the freedoms they gave us. So yeah, go swan dive in the pool, go throw some burgers on the grill, enjoy Memorial Day, and give thanks to the brave men and women who paid the ultimate sacrifice so we can enjoy those freedoms. So let's go enjoy them this weekend. Of course, if you're going to be celebrating, have plenty of the great taste of Bud Light. Drink easy with the great taste of Bud Light, the official beer of AFR, the official beer of the LSU Tigers, of the New Orleans Saints, and they've done so much for our military over the years as well. The Folds of Honor program that they contribute to is awesome. One of the founding partners of Folds of Honor, and been so integral in the relationship with our military as well. Drink easy with the great taste of Bud Light. Okay, y'all, it's After Further Review. Glad you're hanging out. Terrio is here next hour, as he always is. We found out on Thursday evening that LSU is going to retire number 4. Well, let me rephrase that. They're going to retire Charles Alexander's jersey. We don't retire numbers. LSU doesn't retire numbers. They just retire the jersey. So players can still wear that number, but these players will be honored in Tiger Stadium. So, of course, we know it's Billy Cannon's number 20. It's Jerry Stovall's number 21. It's Tommy Casanova's 37. Those 3, and they will be joined now by Charles Alexander. His number 4 will be the jersey will be retired this fall at a football game. When we come back, my good friend Charles Alexander is going to join us. We'll do that next on AFR.
After Further Review.
Get Gordon and get it done. Gordon McKernan Injury Attorneys. You've been injured in an accident. It's not your fault. Do what injured people in our state have done for 30 years. Get Gordon and get it done. No matter where you are in Louisiana, remember, call the 8s, 888-8888, 888-8888, or go to getgordon.com. Gordon's got offices all over the state, so no matter where you are, if you've been injured, you need representation, the last thing you want to do is travel. So there's offices near you with Gordon McKernan Injury Attorneys and qualified attorneys that are going to fight to get you exactly what you deserve. Listen, don't go through that process alone. If you've been injured and you file a claim, the insurance company wants to write you a check and be done with it. They want to settle and be done with it. And their job is to make sure they pay you as little as possible. You have representation to make sure you get what you deserve. Go through that process and let Gordon help. GetGordon.com, getgordon.com, or you can call 888-8888, 888-8888. Get Gordon and get it done.
After Further Review with Matt Moscona, presented by Don Juan Cigar Bar.
All-American running back Charles Alexander has been elected to college football's Hall of Fame. Now, Come On Man Cajun Seasoning proudly presents Hall of Fame Moments with Charles Alexander.
What I remember about the Oregon game was we were trying to attack them mostly off tackle, running sweeps and plays off tackle. I remember getting over 230 yards. It was a great game. We pretty much dominated Oregon as a team, and it was a great victory. And I actually had been taken out of the game, and Coach Mack put me back in because he got a call from the press box that I could score 4 touchdowns, and that would be an LSU record. And he was kind enough to think about me to put me back in the game. I remember Coach Brooks telling Coach Mack at the post-game handshake that he wished I had broken my leg along with a couple of records.
This has been
no, not Rich Brooks saying that Charles Alexander wished he had broken his leg. We about a decade ago, more than a decade ago now, we were able to do those Hall of Fame moments when Charles Alexander was elected to college football's Hall of Fame. We got to know each other. He's been kind enough to come on the show over the years, and I'm happy to call him a friend. And was excited when I saw yesterday evening that LSU is retiring Charles Alexander's jersey. The number 4 will join number 20, number 21, and number 37 in Tiger Stadium as those jerseys being honored. And Charles Alexander's good enough to join us for a couple of minutes here. How are you, sir?
I'm doing great, man.
Glad to hear it, man.
Doing good.
I'm glad. I'm sure you are. I'm glad to hear it. Let's start with an obvious one, man. walk us through the phone call, if you would, or how you found out that they had voted to retire your jersey.
I had gotten a phone call about probably 9:30 in the morning. I wasn't really ready for it. Wasn't expecting a call. Didn't even know they had a vote or anything. And one of the assistant ADs called me and told me the news, and I was just elated. I was happy, shocked, because I didn't even know it was being voted on, and I've been getting phone call after phone call. All the Tiger LSU people that I know and calling, congratulating, and that's pretty much all I've been doing today. is talking on the phone and returning text messages.
Well,
yeah.
I appreciate.
It's a lot of fun, though, man. Social media is amazing. That's all I can say.
Well, I appreciate you returning mine. What you said, social media is amazing. What do you mean? What's some of the reaction you got there?
Well, that's how I would think. That's how most people found out. Just communication. Some of the highlight videos that I've seen on social media back in the old days, and I was like, man, this is just amazing how fast this news is spreading about this. Because I can remember back in 2012 with the Hall of Fame, College Football Hall of Fame. It seemed like it was nothing like this. Mm.
Well,
and 2012 is what, 50, I don't know, it's a pretty good bit away, but seemed like the phone calls and everything has like tripled.
Well, LSU, it's been a rare group that's gone into the College Football Hall of Fame. That's rarefied air, but there's only 3 players in the history of the program that have had their jersey retired. It's Billy Cannon, it's Jerry Stovall, and it's Tommy Casanova. When you think about that in context, Charles, like you're one of now 4 in the history of the program to have this honor. Has that sunk in yet? What do you think when you hear that?
I don't know if it's actually sunk in yet because of all the phone calls and text messages. And, I guess one day when I sit down and think about it, but I still feel like it's a big deal. Don't get me wrong, but it'll really set in when I can get some time and just think about the old days. And I communicated with a couple of my offensive linemen, and they were overjoyed. And everybody's planning on celebrating on the, I think it's the 16th. Yeah, the 16th of September when we play Florida. That's when the celebration's going to start.
Okay, so is that official that you all have decided that's going to be the date?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so we'll mark that down. September the 16th will be the retirement of the jersey ceremony. You mentioned you talked to some of your linemen. So who else has reached out? Who have you talked to here in the last, 20 hours or so?
Oh my God, man! Man, I've talked to people I hadn't heard from in 30 years. Some of my Cincinnati Bengals teammates, Isaac Curtis, we were real good friends. And over a period of time, people go their different ways. And not that you don't love them anymore, but you just, you go on with your life and you don't talk as much as you used to. And it was just good to talk to Isaac today. Bo Harris played linebacker at Cincinnati with me. He's an LSU guy. We talked about some some crazy stories, some of the crazy things that went on back in the olden days in Cincinnati. So it's been a lot of fun reminiscing and catching up with people that I hadn't heard from in quite a long time.
You want to tell us some of those crazy stories?
Am I allowed? Some of them I can't tell.
That's up to you, man. I'm all ears. It's up to you. If you want to clean it up as much as you can.
Okay, I'll tell you one.
Okay.
Me and Bo Harris, like the linebacker from Freeport, he was a couple of years in front of me, but we played together in Cincinnati. We played in the Super Bowl 16. He was team. I don't know if you've heard of Bo Harris, but
Sure.
he's a linebacker out of Shreveport, played at LSU. And so when I was a rookie, we were in training camp in Wilmington, Ohio. We laughed about this story today. I said, Bo, I said, do you remember when you and I kind of connected? I said we had the LSU connection going. I said, but we really connected when Moon Pie was a big 6'6" offensive lineman from the University of Georgia. 6'6", about 200. Back in those days, if you were 6'6", 290 pounds, you were huge. So we went to training camp and had a little time to blow off one day. We only practiced in the morning that particular day, and so we had the afternoon off. And we all went to a bar, to the local establishment, and I was not known for drinking. Still don't drink that much, but I had a couple of beers and my mouth started running. I called this big guy a big baby. So he got mad. He didn't like me calling him a big baby, so he was going to show guys that he wasn't a big baby. So he was going to beat me up. And Bo saved my life. He said, not tonight, Moon Pie. But you got to go through me.
That's a Tiger teammate for life there, man. Saved you from Moon Pie.
Oh yeah, man, Moon Pie. But he was a pretty good tackle. He played about 12 years. Played on the opposite end of Anthony Munoz. So we had a great line.
Yeah. Charles Alexander is with us. Found out his number 4 will join Billy Cannon, Jerry Stovall, and Tommy Casanova as retired jerseys there at LSU. I know you've told me the story so many times of being recruited and ultimately making the decision to pick LSU on signing day. If you take yourself back there, Charles, to the decision to sign with LSU and the way that your career played out, now your post-career, being in the College Football Hall of Fame and now having your jersey retired by LSU, if I had told you back then that this is how it was going to play out, what would you have thought?
I wouldn't have believed you. First of all, I wouldn't have believed you. When I decided to go to LSU, I wasn't really looking at it as going to LSU, having a great career, and then going to the NFL. My goal was to go to LSU, try to get a degree, and come back to my hometown of Galveston, Texas, and to coach high school football. That's because I didn't really, I wasn't known as a blue chipper or like a 4- or 5-star kid. I was just a big kid that could run fast but in a straight line, and I wasn't one of these shifty type of running backs. So I didn't really think that I would have a future, but everything just kind of clicked at LSU. I had some coaches that were very patient with me. I don't know if I ever told you this, man. I only averaged like 2.8 yards a carry my freshman year.
Mm-hmm.
Most kids would have been benched, or replaced after averaging 2.8 yards a carry. They said, well, maybe you're playing the wrong position and we need to switch you somewhere else because you're not a good running back. But they were patient, and things started. I went from a 2.8 yard a carry running back my freshman year to a 5.7 yards per carry my sophomore year. So that was a big jump. And then that gave me the confidence. I'm like, okay, if I keep working hard, I can do this. And then things just kept getting better and better at LSU once I got comfortable.
By the time his LSU career ended, he held 27 LSU records. He's a 2-time Heisman finalist, a first-round draft pick, number 12 overall, the Cincinnati Bengals. He's in the LSU Hall of Fame, the College Football Hall of Fame, the Louisiana Sports Hall of Fame, and now his number 4 jersey will be recognized by LSU. September the 16th, it'll be a good day. We'll look forward to that, certainly. Before you go, I know you and I first were introduced when you're with your Hall of Fame moments back 13 years ago. We've stayed in touch all this time. Are you still doing work with your Come On Man brand?
Yeah, it's mostly online business, but I'm still doing work with it. Sales are good, but they're not great. But they're still trying to push product. That food business is tough.
Let's get a little spike in sales today for Charles Alexander in honor of this announcement. You can go to ComeOnManCajunSeasoning.com, CMONMAN, Come On Man Cajun Seasoning. By the way, his Twitter, if you want to follow there, is at ComeOnMan4, CMONMAN4. I'll make sure we share it all. But Cajun seasoning, got all the boil mix and the hot sauce and everything. So you can go order online as a show of support, and congratulations to Charles Alexander today. Man, I'm looking forward to September the 16th, having you in town, and I'll probably bother you again as we get closer to that and see if we can get you on air in studio.
Man. Please do, man. We go a long way back, man.
Well, you've always been very kind to me. You're as humble a great as there is, and I was thrilled for you when I saw the news. So let me extend my personal congratulations to you. We'll look forward to September, okay?
Thank you very much, buddy.
That's our pleasure. That's Charles Alexander. Alexander the Great, an all-time good. You can tell just listening to Charles how genuinely good of a person he is. Now, I didn't get to see Charles Alexander play at LSU. His career ended in the late 1970s, 1978. So I was born in 1982. But the fact that our lives are in different eras, like quite literally, Charles could be my dad. I'm 42. He quite literally could be my dad. But we've gotten along really well, and he is as kind and genuine in real life as he sounds right there. And you think about a guy like Charles Alexander, who's just one of those war daddies. Man, Paul was playing, if you're watching with us, Paul was playing some of the videos that LSU's released and all that stuff. He played in an era where it was not to say football isn't a brutal game now, but they have tried to eliminate a lot of the dangerous plays out of football. And we are so much more aware of head trauma and things like that. Charles just was a battering ram of a football player and so physical when you watch the old videos. And you just think about a guy like that being the 12th pick of the draft. Like, financially, what being the 12th pick of the draft is today as opposed to 1978, it's a little different, But, man, what a thrill. What an honor. I know we've talked about this plenty of times over the years, my feelings on I love that LSU has begun honoring its past. It went a long time without doing that. And they've done it in football. We've seen it in baseball as well, and basketball here recently, women's basketball, and I'm thrilled for that. I think you do need to honor your past and your history. And so I'm thrilled for Charles, and I think there's others still to come. I think Kevin Falk's 3, Glenn Dorsey 72, Burrow, Jaden Daniels. That's all coming in time whenever it will. But this is an awesome moment to honor the guy that was Leonard Fournette before Leonard Fournette came along. And I'm just thrilled for him. So our congratulations to Charles Alexander. We appreciate him taking a couple of minutes for us today. All right, it is after further review. We'll knock out a quick break, and we'll continue. We'll go around the SEC when we come back on AFR.
After further review.
I tell you every day about Darren James and his Guaranteed Sale program, where he guarantees he'll sell your home at a price by a deadline you agree to. If he doesn't, he'll have your home bought with cash, or he'll sell it for free. Some of you may go, that sounds too good to be true. Well, listen to Tiffany, who just went through this with Darren.
The Guaranteed Sales program is real. My dad contacted Darren to possibly sell my home, and although my home didn't sell in that 59 days, he and his team kept their promise, and they worked really hard to continue to get my home sold. It was a great experience. So if you are in the market to buy or sell a home, I highly recommend Darren James.
They missed it by 16 days. But Darren still sold Tiffany's home and didn't charge her anything to do it. It is a real thing, the Guaranteed Sale program. So call Darren James. What do you got to lose? 335-7666 or agent225.com.
Think real estate, think Darren James.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Don Juan Cigar Bar.
Thanks again to Charles Alexander for joining us for a few minutes. There was I got a few people on my text line asking again for Charles's business. So it's Come On Man Cajun Seasoning is the name of his business, and he's got his Cajun seasoning, his hot sauce, his shrimp and crab boil as well. So it's mostly DTC, direct to consumer, through his website. So you can go to the website. It's CMONMAN, Come On Man. So it's CMONMAN, CajunSeasoning.com. If you want to go buy some buy some hot sauce, buy some Cajun seasoning, or any of the boil. You're going to be doing shrimp boils or crab boils coming up. We're getting into crab season. You can do it and look with not only a college football Hall of Famer, but an LSU legend. Congrats again to Charles Alexander. Yeah, I've every time that one of those a story like that pops up and we see another player honored. Here recently we saw it in women's basketball with Sylvia Fowles. Previously in women's basketball with Simone Augustus. In men's basketball with Chris Jackson, a.k.a. Mahmoud Abdul-Rauf recently. Prior to that, Shaq and Rudy Macklin and Pete Maravich and Bob Pett. Like, we know the names. In baseball, we've seen Dr. Eddie Furness and Todd Walker's jerseys retired alongside Ben McDonald. I love that LSU is going down this path because it had been a while since LSU had done this. And I don't give Joe Oliva credit for a lot of things because he doesn't deserve a lot of credit because he was a terrible athletic director in so many ways. One of the things that he did very intentionally when he first got the job was he wanted to beautify Tiger Stadium, which they did. They did the windows project. I mean, there was a lot of broken windows and there was rust, and it looked like an old decrepit stadium. And they brought it back to life. That was one. And two is he wanted to celebrate the past. So you look around Tiger Stadium, and there are plaques to the SEC championship teams and the All-Americans and the College Football Hall of Famers and the award winners. And all of that stuff was very intentional in that era there around 2008, 2009-ish, around there. And, we went a long period from Billy Cannon to not having a player's jersey retired in football until Tommy Casanova. Billy Cannon's number was retired as soon as his playing career ended back in 1959. I mean, it was as soon as it was the same thing with Bob Pettit when his playing career ended. His number 50 was retired immediately. But you're talking, 40, 50 years between retirements. And it was time. And Tommy Casanova is LSU's only 3-time All-American in football. Jerry Stovall was a Heisman runner-up. I mean, many would argue that he should have won the 1962 Heisman Trophy, that Terry Baker from Oregon State won it, but it should have been Stovall. But they didn't want another Southern running back winning the award so close to Billy Cannon. And we can argue, like, I wasn't alive during the time, I don't know the politics, but there's enough people who are historians of the game that know that was a thing. And you didn't see games, right? I mean, you just read about games in the paper. You didn't see every game. So a lot of it was word of mouth, and nobody saw this running back on the West Coast or quarterback Terry Baker on the West Coast. And anyway, and then, of course, so you have those three. And I have long since argued that I think Glenn Dorsey, I know this because I've talked about this plenty, there's a 5-year waiting period from the end of a career. There's a 5-year waiting period from the end of a career to be eligible for this type of distinction. And I said at the time that Joe Burrow's career ended that they should have waived the 5-year period. And he should have immediately had this honor. No one should ever wear 9 again. And I also believe that in 2012, which would have been 5 years for Glenn Dorsey, that his 72 should have been as such honored. And I don't want to have this conversation now because it does. I don't want to distract the conversation from Charles Alexander because, as you just heard, he and I spoke, and I think the world of him, and I'm thrilled for him. But we can have two different conversations simultaneously, which is one, yes, I'm thrilled for Charles Alexander, so warranted. He is a pillar in LSU football's past, a 2-time Heisman finalist. As I said, he had 27 school records when he left. And you have to honor your past. And you have to recognize men like that. He's in the College Football Hall of Fame. I mean, he is warranted for all of these things. He was the 12th pick of the draft. I mean, he was his era's Leonard Fournette. And it is so deserving of an honor. And I think it also opens the door, again, the parallel conversations to say what other players are deserving of the honor. One thing I'll tell you, because some may wonder, like, well, how do you get there? Well, there is a formal nomination process. So someone, it could be you, has to go and formally nominate someone through the LSU Athletics Hall of Fame committee for this honor, for a jersey retirement, for a statue, something like that. So if that's something that you feel passionate about, I would strongly recommend that you go through the process, go to the website, and nominate whoever might be next. But we'll get through that era. And it's clear also that it's sort of going chronological. And I'm okay with that as well, because you want these types of honors to happen while these men and women are living and can enjoy them with their families. So, I mean, look, I'm not putting Charles Alexander in the grave. I mean, Charles is 70. I don't know exactly how old he is, but probably right around there. I mean, he's going to live many, many more wonderful years. And this is great that he and his family, his children, his grandchildren will get to enjoy this honor with him, which is phenomenal, which is what it's supposed to be. I'm thrilled they honored Coach Stovall at the time they did. But there will be more, and there should be more in many sports, because over the last quarter century, we are living through the golden age of LSU athletics, and there are many more athletes that are going to be honored. Oh, God. I'm so sorry. Sorry. I just glanced up at the TV, and Ole Miss had two outfielders collide. That's going to be an in-the-park home run for Arkansas, but please, God, kid, get up. I'm very sorry. I didn't mean to react that way, but that'll tell you how organic that was. I mean, this was a full sprint. They did not communicate, and they just collided with one another. Okay. I'm sorry. They are tending to both these guys in the outfield. They're both moving, which is good news. I'm very sorry if I startled you. But you'll see this play, and when you do, you'll know why I reacted. Let me do this. Let me break. We'll see if we can get an update on there. This is very awkward. I apologize. There's no other way to say it. I'm sorry. That was just a very organic live thing that happened. But they're tending to both these guys. We'll break. We'll come back. It's AFR.
AFR.
Very awkward, but we're brought to you by River City's 1 Hour Air, where they're always on time, where you don't pay a dime. You know, we're heading into a holiday weekend. And, of course, I tell you all the time, with River City's 1 Hour Air, they'll always come out nights, holidays, weekends. They'll never charge you extra to come out nights, holidays, weekends. So if you have an issue with your AC this weekend, Monday is a holiday and Memorial Day. If you have an issue with your AC on Monday, River City's 1 Hour Air will come out. So remember, they'll always come out. They'll do exceptional work. They'll never charge you extra to come out nights, holidays, weekends at River City's 1 Hour Air. They're big yellow vans and trucks with the giant clock on the side, 752-0001, 752-0001, or 1hourbr.com. You spell it out, O-N-E, 1hourbr.com for River City's 1 Hour Air. Servicing all of Greater Baton Rouge. You've got an issue with your home central AC. Trust the best. Trust River City's 1 Hour Air, 752-0001.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Don Juan Cigar Bar.
I got to make up a spot here. So let me remind you about South Point Volkswagen, southpointvw.com. The great news is both Ole Miss players are up. I don't know if they're staying in the game. There's still a crew of people in the outfield tending to them. So if we get an update, I'll pass it along. But both are up. It looks like both guys are going to exit the game, which is not surprising. But they're both up and walking, and that's the best news. We're brought to you by South Point Volkswagen, southpointvw.com. New and certified pre-owned in Baton Rouge and online, southpointvw.com. Memorial Day weekend is here, maybe with the long weekend. This is the time you're going to go take a peek at a new vehicle. Make sure you got South Point Volkswagen on your list. Louisiana's largest volume Volkswagen dealer. They're an airline just north of Highland and online at southpointvw.com, southpointvw.com, South Point Volkswagen. They are just simply the best. Louisiana's largest volume Volkswagen dealer with the best inventory, the best selection, the best people and prices. Shop them online at southpointvw.com, southpointvw.com. South Point Volkswagen, what's your direction? Okay, since we missed it there in the last segment, let's see if we can knock this out right now. Let's go around the SEC.
Around the SEC, bringing you the biggest news from the nation's best conference, the Oklahoma Sooners.
3-star defensive lineman out of Jacksonville, Brian Harris, committed to Oklahoma on Friday. Been offered back in February. 6'4", 290. He's the number 49 defensive lineman in the country for 2026. Chose the Sooners over a bunch of big-time suitors, Bama, Michigan, Penn State, South Carolina, and others.
The Ole Miss Rebels.
Nick Bundalo has committed to Chris Beard and Ole Miss basketball. He decommitted from Washington just about a month ago, and now has picked the Rebels. He's the number 31 overall prospect in the country, the number 6 power forward for this recruiting cycle. He is a McDonald's All-American, chose the Rebs over North Carolina, Kansas, and Kentucky.
The South Carolina Gamecocks.
And the Board of Trustees has approved phase 2 for Williams-Brice Stadium improvements. Among the renovations, the project will add premium seating areas, upgrades to the student section, upgrades to the locker room, the concourse. It'll be approved in August of 2025, at what point construction can begin after the season. Okay, there you have it. That is Around the SEC. We are brought to you by the Williamson Eye Center, 924-2020, 924-2020, or williamsoneye.com, williamsoneye.com. I know sometimes people may wonder, I'd love to do LASIK. I don't know if I can afford it. You can afford it. And one of the great things about the Williamson Eye Center is they do offer 0% for 24 months. So you can have the LASIK now, and you could pay for it over 2 years with 0% interest. There's so many different ways, and also there's a cost calculator on the website whereby when you try to calculate the lifetime cost of contacts and filling prescriptions and eye exams and contact solution and glasses and all that stuff, LASIK is actually more cost effective. Maybe you don't want LASIK. They have the EVO ICL, which is the implantable contact lens. It's an alternative to LASIK. There's so many different options no matter what your refractive issue is. Maybe you had LASIK years ago. PRK can be an option for you now if some of your other eye issues have popped up. Just go for that consultation at the Williamson Eye Center, 924-2020 or williamsoneye.com. Interesting, because in this game we're watching with Ole Miss and Arkansas, they're bottom 2. Ole Miss was up 5-0. They exploded out the gate at a 3-run homer. It was a 5-spot in the first. We come down here into the second, and what just happened on that play where I reacted the way I did ended up being a 2-run inside the park home run, because when the two outfielders collided, it was just, the merry-go-round was going. So it was a Little League home run. But so it's 5-2 right now, bottom 2, Ole Miss leading Arkansas. And there's a ton on the line in this game for Ole Miss. I was kind of trying to make some phone calls today to get a sense of where things stand as far as hosting and what's on the line for who left. And as best I can tell right now, going into the weekend, Kentucky is out. They're not going to make the field. They won 13 league games. They lost their first game in Hoover. By all indications, barring something dramatic and unforeseen, Kentucky is going to miss postseason or miss the NCAA tournament. It sounds like Georgia Tech is going to be a host. And it's a bit odd because Georgia Tech's sitting right there right now, 20 in the RPI. But I think there is also a feeling so as not to have the entire field be littered with SEC host sites. The last of the SEC host sites, as I was told earlier today, appears to be down to Ole Miss and Tennessee. Now, Tennessee is number 10 in the RPI. They're going to play Vanderbilt on Saturday. Vanderbilt is number 1 in the RPI. So if Tennessee beats Vanderbilt and goes on to play in the championship game, continues to see its RPI increase, despite the fact that they've lost 5 series in a row and 6 of 7, Tennessee could well play its way into a regional host site, but Ole Miss is the team, as I understand it, that could maybe put a stop to that. Ole Miss's RPI is 18, so they're lower than Tennessee in the RPI, but RPI obviously is the only thing that's going to be considered. But it is one of the primary factors that they consider. So just figure what you want to cheer for accordingly. Like, I don't want to see any good things for Tennessee. I don't particularly care for Ole Miss either, but I look at Tennessee as the most talented team in the SEC. Most talented. Not the best team, clearly. They lost 5 weekends in a row and 6 of 7. But they're the most talented. the most guys that are going to get drafted, the most velo out of their bullpen. Like, they're the most talented team, so they're dangerous. And I don't want a path for Tennessee carved through Lindsey Nelson. I want them to have to go travel somewhere, go on the road and play. So I want them out. Like, I don't fear Ole Miss going on some amazing run. It could happen. I mean, it's baseball. But Terrio asked if someone could come let him in. Can you maybe call down or something? Call somebody to let him in. We got new key card system here at the Guarantee Building, so Terrio can't get in. Need to get him a new key card, too. All right, it's after further review. Our Friday shows are brought to you by Don Juan Cigar Bar there in Town Center. By the way, 4 to 7 p.m. Fridays, they've got happy hour over at Don Juan with some craft old fashions, including their Jefferson's Barrel Age old fashioned. You can get by today and every Friday from 4 to 7 for this $10 old fashions. All right, it's after further review. SportsCenter's coming up. Get you caught up in national headlines. Terrio is next.
AFR.
We're brought to you by Shaw Bills Tire and Auto Service, ShawBillsTire.com, with locations all over South Louisiana. You can always go to ShawBillsTire.com to find that location nearest you. As a matter of fact, there's the locations tab, or you can schedule service. So if you need service or you want to shop tires, you can go to the website. This is the very easy prompts right there. Select the location nearest you. There's even the chat function. So if you're on mobile or on desktop, there's a little chat bubble where you tap that, it'll pop up, you choose the location nearest you, and boom, you're texting or chatting with a technician or a representative at the Shaw Bills nearest you. Get your vehicle's summer road trip ready. They got all the top brands of tires, and I tell you all the time, they'll sell you those name brand tires at wholesale prices. That's Michelin, Bridgestone, Firestone, BF Goodrich. Name brand tires at wholesale prices. Before you hit the road for your summer vacation, make sure you got new tires and your vehicle is in tip-top shape. Shaw Bills can make it happen. ShawBillsTire.com. Shaw Bills, where we keep you rolling.